So today I want to talk about G2 versus Fnatic over in the LEC Grand Finals, and then a little later in the video I'll talk about G2 moving forward into Worlds and kind of where I see them going. So if you didn't know, G2 and Fnatic faced off yet again in the LEC Grand Finals. I feel like this is the only matchup we've had in the finals in Europe since like 2022, I want to say, when it was Mad Lions winning. But, G2 Fnatic is obviously the classic matchup, gets everyone really hyped up, at least in Europe. Um, and last time, Fnatic beat G2 in, was it 5 games? I think it was 5 games. And that had a lot of people thinking this was Fnatic's time. This was finally going to be the split where they overcame G2 and was able to win that championship. Needless to say, it definitely was not their time. For whatever reason, I think G2 just lives rent-free in this organization's head. Fnatic can switch around roster, can switch around players as much as they want, and G2 just wins. I mean, that's kind of the fact that's been true for years now, and I think the one consistent theme throughout all of this winning for G2 has been Caps. He's been on the team since 2019 now. This is his 5th year on the team. 6, something like that. He's been on the team for a while. And the entire time he's been there, G2 has won. And that's been consistent. It's obvious that this guy is insane. He won the MVP this year in LEC for a reason. He's been the best player in the league for as long as he's been in the league, really. And he's proven time and time again just how ridiculously good he is at the game. Just watching him play versus these players, honestly, it looks like it's a challenger player in solo queue versus like a platinum player. Caps is just so much better than everyone else mechanically, and in every single phase of the game, it just seems like he's superior. Obviously, he puts in the time and the effort to be good. Everyone that's this legendary at the game does that amount of work, no matter their profession. But, Caps has largely been the reason that G2's been so successful. They've changed around rosters quite a bit over the last 5 years, and he's been the mainstay, and he's been the main reason they're winning. So I think, honestly, that's the main reason Fnatic can't beat G2. It's just because Caps is there. Even though Fnatic has good players most of the time on their rosters, and they have pretty successful seasons, they just can't seem to overcome G2 as a team. And watching the series this past weekend, Fnatic just didn't really look prepared. They looked flat. They looked not in the best form. And I think that's what they get with so much time off. G2 was able to play a series against Mad Lions just a couple days before. They were used to the stage, which actually this kind of stuff does matter in competition and in live competition. I've been there. Getting used to the stage and the environment is a huge advantage in this case for G2. So that they pretty handily took down Mad Lions 3 games to 1, and getting that advantage, getting used to the feel on stage with the crowd and the environment is really, really a big advantage. So Fnatic coming into that for the first time, they just looked flat. It's not even like their drafts were awful. It's not like their play was awful. They just were kind of outclassed, and it was shown pretty simply that G2 was just the better team. So will Fnatic ever be able to win LEC again? Probably, yeah, but I think it's going to require Caps to either get seriously injured or have to leave the team for some reason. As long as Caps is on G2, I don't see Fnatic winning against this team. So I also want to talk about this video, G2 heading into Worlds, because they had a bit of a lull late in this split. They won the summer split, regular championship, I guess you could call it, and then early on in the season finals, they got pretty blasted. Well, they didn't get blasted. They lost 5 games to Mad Lions, and then they were able to beat GX, which obviously they should have. But they definitely looked shaky against BDS. They had to reverse sweep BDS. And largely, a lot of people were worried about this team. They didn't look themselves. They looked nowhere near as strong as they did in the regular season. And a lot of people expected them to lose against Fnatic here, even lose to Mad Lions in the previous series. Even though they were able to eventually pull out the win in the championship, this was a pretty up and down split for G2, and it was kind of uncharacteristic in that sense. So if they can keep this form that they're in now, winning the championship, I do think that there's potential they do something at Worlds. Um, does this team have the potential to do something? Absolutely. We saw it just at MSI after Spring Split. They played fantastically at MSI. They had a great performance. They took down top esports in a best of five, and they were really competitive with T1 as well. So I think that absolutely G2 can do something at Worlds, even though so many people, including myself, have been down on the LEC this entire year, really. People saying that, North America has finally passed the LEC. I think that still holds true to some degree. But if G2 can continue to hold this state that they're in as a team and continue to improve, through the end of this split here, through a little bit of off time, and then boot camping for Worlds, I think that they can absolutely do something at the World Championship. The question is, though, you know, with a new format, I don't actually know what the new format is, but it all comes down to matchups at Worlds. But that's the exciting thing, really, is that upsets can happen so easily and that anyone can win on any given day. If a team has an off day, if a team has an on day, who knows what's going to happen? And that's really the exciting part about international competition to me. So that's something I'm really excited to see. Am I predicting G2 to do anything at Worlds? No, not really. Maybe they could make top 8, but anything past that would be an absolute miracle. But I do think that, if Europe has a chance, it is going to be G2. It is going to be led by Caps. And, you know, maybe they could take down an LPL team. Maybe they could take some games off of, like a T1 or an HLE. They could probably beat Team Liquid in a competitive series. Although, if the West as a whole is going to do anything this Worlds, I'm most confident in Team Liquid at this point. But with all that said, G2 can definitely be successful and make Europe proud at this Worlds. I don't think anyone's going to be predicting them to make a deep run or take down Eastern teams in best of threes or best of fives, whatever it might be. And I think that goes for Fnatic as well and Mad Lions. So Europe is definitely in the weakest spot it's been in recent years, I think, heading into an international competition. And again, the sole hope of this entire region is G2 Esports. I think Fnatic is going to be completely mental boomed after this serious loss against G2. I don't think they're going to be able to overcome it, and I think they're going to be completely dead and just absolutely mentally destroyed heading into Worlds. I don't expect them to do anything. I think Mad Lions could definitely pull out some upsets, just because they didn't really expect to be here, and they really, frankly, they shouldn't have been here going to Worlds, but they had a late season resurgence and really turned things around. So I think they're going to maybe have some success and some upsets just based off of that and the adrenaline of, we had a really nice turnaround. We have a lot of momentum, so maybe that can carry them to a few wins. But the fact of the matter is, if Europe is to do anything successful at Worlds, it's going to be through G2. Thanks for watching. See you next time.